Okay, this video is going to check or do the answers, show the answers for numbers 4 and 5. And so here we go. And so x is 1, y is 7. We have a while loop within a while loop. And so we have a nested loop. X is 1 less than or equal to 2. Yes, it is. So we jump into the loop. Inside the loop, we have a while loop. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code. So all those have to be executed each time through the loop. So y is 7. Is 7 greater than 1? Well, yes, it is. So we're going to jump in the loop and we're going to print hot. And then we're going to, next line is y is assigned y minus 2, which it becomes 5. And then we go back to while, and is 5 greater than 1. As you can see, we're getting closer to 1. And so that's true. So we're going to print hot again. And then now we're going to subtract 2 from y again. And so what we get is we get, actually what I should do, what I really should do, let's pause. Okay, so what we're doing here is now we're going to subtract 2, and so now it's going to become 3. So y is now 3. So we go back up to the while statement. Is 3 greater than 1, which it is. So now we're going to go in here and print hot again. And then the next line, we're going to subtract 2 from y. So now it becomes 1. So we go here, back to the while statement. Is y is 1 greater than 1? Well, no, it's not. So now we're going to kick out of that loop. And we're going to go in here. Now remember, we're just our first time through the outer loop. During the inner loop, we just finished the inner loop, and we're going to continue on with the outer loop body. And so we're going to print dog. And then the next thing is printing a blank line. So we're going to go to the next line down. Then we're going to increment x. So x now becomes 2. And then y is assigned y plus 4. Well, y is 1, so y plus 4 makes it 5. And so then we go back to the outer while statement. Oh, wow. Well, something's not working right here. So we're going to go back to while. And now is x is 2 less than or equal to 2, which it is. So we're going to jump back into the loop again, and we're going to go through this while loop and 4 statements again. So now while, or 5, is, or y is 5 now, is 5 greater than 1. Yes, it is. So now we're going to go and we're going to do this loop, this inner loop, until it stops. So we're going to print hot. And then subtract 2 from y, so it becomes 3. Is 3 greater than 1? Yes, it is. So we're going to print hot again. We're going to subtract 2 from y, so it becomes 1. And now we go back up to the while statement. Is 1 greater than y? 1. No, it's not. So now we're going to kick out of the inner while loop and go and continue on with the outer while loop body, and we're going to print dog again. We're going to print a blank line, and now we're going to update x. So x now becomes 3. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to add 4 to y. And so now y becomes 5 again. And now we're done with the outer loop. So we go back up to while and check now, is x is 3 less than or equal to 2? Well, it's not. So we kick out of the outer while loop and go see if there's anything else to do, which there is. And so we are going to then print, because there's a blank line there, we're going to print I8, Y is 5, hot dogs. And there you go. Okay, now we're going to do 5. And so here's X, A, and Y. And we have a nested for loop within a for loop. So now X is assigned 1, so we're going to put the 1 here. And is 1 less than 3, which it is, so we jump into the loop. Now the outer loop here, has a for loop which has to go until it's done, and then a print statement. So we start with Y is 0. And is 0 less than or equal to 2? Yes, it is. So we go into the body and we go A times Y. And you do multiplication before addition anyway, so the order of operations is already set here. A is 2 and Y is 0. So that's 0 and then plus 1, which is 1, which is what X is. So A is assigned 1. So we're going to put that here. And so now the next line is to print A, which is 1. So now we are done with the for loop, and so we're going to go back to the for statement, the inner for statement, because that's what we're working on now until it stops, and Y gets incremented by 1. So it becomes 1. And is 1 less than or equal to 2? Yes, it is. So now we're going to go into the loop and A times Y. So we can look here as A times Y is 1 times 1, and then we're going to add 1. So 1 times 1 is 1, plus 1 is 2. So A is now 2. And so now we're going to print A, which is, we said was 2. And then we we're at the end of this for loop, so we go back up to the third section of the while statement, increment Y, so it becomes 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 2? Well, yes, it is. And so we're going to go down into this inner loop, the body of the inner loop again. So A times Y, so it's 2 times 2, which is 4, and plus 1. So now A is 5. Or A, yes, A is 5. So we're going to print A, and that's 5. Okay, so we're end of the loop, so we go back to the third section. Y gets incremented to 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 2? No, it's not. So we kick out of that loop, and now we're going to go down to that statement, which is to print a blank line. So we're actually going to go down 1, so we insertion points down another line. We are done with the outer loop one time, so now we're going to go back to the for statement of the outer loop and increment X. So X gets incremented, and now it becomes 2. And so, with X being 2, is 2 less than 3? Which it is, so we'll jump into the loop. We're going to do the inner for loop again. Now here's the critical issue, and that is that when you revisit an inner for loop, you've got to start all over. So Y has to be reassigned to 0. So this now becomes 0. And actually, it's even a different memory location is what it is. We're going to go ahead and use the same memory location, and we're going to go back to 0. So 0 less than or equal to 2, yes it is. So now A times Y, so 5 times 0, 0 plus X, X is 2, so the value of A is now 2. And we're going to print A, which is 2. We're going to go back to the third section. Y gets incremented. 1 is less than 3. So we jump into the loop. I'm sorry. 1, we're talking about Y. 1 is less than or equal to 2. So we jump into the loop. A times Y. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. So A becomes 4. We're going to print A, and then we're going to go back to the third section of the inner for loop, and Y becomes 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 2? Yes, it is. So we jump in the loop one more time. A times Y. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Let's see if we did that way. So A is 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So Y becomes 10. And then we're going to print A, which is 10. And then we're going to go back up. I think I did that wrong. This is 10. And so then we go back up to the third section. Y is incremented by 1. 3 is not less than 3. 3 is not less than or equal to 2. So we kick out of the loop and we go down and print another blank line. And then we go back up to the outer for statement and increment x again. So this becomes 3. And so 3 is not less than 3, so we kick out of the loop. And so here we are. We are done.